Pluribus, Pluribus has concluded its first season. And before I get into my thoughts on the show, I just want to start off by saying Breaking Bad and Better Call Saul are literally my favorite shows ever made. I went into Pluribus as a major Vince Gilligan fan, extremely excited to see what he was going to do with this new show. I'm the type of fan that never found Breaking Bad or Better Call Saul boring. I think both of those shows are peak television, peak storytelling, and peak character writing. I'm the type of fan that actually thinks Better Call Saul is better than Breaking Bad, and I'm also a fly enjoyer. Yes, I like the episode where Walter just tries to kill a fly the whole time. All of this to say that my attention span is well attuned to Vince Gilligan's slow pacing, and better yet, I'm a fan of it. So for me to say that the majority of Pluribus is actually really boring and horribly paced, I think is kind of a big deal. Pluribus is slow and boring, and I am saying that not as someone who suffers from TikTok brain. Like I said, I am a fly enjoyer. I love every season of Better Call Saul, not just the last ones. I love the first season of Better Call Saul, and I never found it boring or slow. But Pluribus, for the most part, is very boring and slow. And I hate saying that because I love Vince Gilligan. And actually, I do still really like this show. But I feel like if I were to now go back and re-watch it, it would be like replaying a video game with a bunch of unskippable cutscenes. Or specifically like replaying one of the PlayStation Spider-Man games and not being able to skip the god-awful missions where you don't play as Spider-Man. It's also like Red Dead Redemption 2, which I'm currently replaying, and it's like that game is peak, but there's these super boring long, like every time you're going to do a mission, you have to ride there on your horse, and it takes forever, and it's unnecessary and boring. Like, why can't a cutscene just happen to get me there? I don't know. It's kind of like that, I guess, in a way. Now, the funny thing is, I still do actually kind of enjoy the slow pace, but sometimes it just gets way too slow. You see, I really like the show's premise. I think this is a really cool and really interesting sci-fi concept, and I like getting the time to really explore all the intricate details of said concept. I actually think it's a lot of fun spending time just seeing how Carol reacts and interacts with the hive mind of humans. I love the fun sequences showcasing what could take place when everybody's brains are all connected. Like the grocery store scene, for example. I think that's a really fun scene. And for me, I enjoy just getting to live in this weird new sci-fi reality. And I do like seeing how Carol goes about living in this new world. What I'm trying to say is that for me personally, the sci-fi concept alone actually carries the show for me. And I like getting a whole show just exploring this concept and just seeing what life on Earth would be like if this crazy hive mind thing happened. So this might seem weird that I'm saying I like spending time in this world and I like parts like the grocery store scene, while also saying I think the show is boring and slow. But the thing is, although I like just simply observing how this woman, Carol, lives in this absurd scenario, for things to actually happen in the show, it takes forever. Like Vince, we really don't need a 20-minute sequence showing how Zosha, or whatever her name is, get to Carol. We get the concept. The whole world now shares brains, so obviously she just gets in a plane and flies there. What is the point in devoting so much time in just showing us this? What does it accomplish? It's not like we learn anything interesting, and it isn't particularly engaging or enjoyable to watch this woman just get in a plane and fly. The only information that you are trying to communicate to the audience is that a woman is flying to go see Carol. Do you really need this much time devoted to relaying that information to us? In my opinion, this show just has so much wasted time. And although I like spending time just watching Carol diddy-daddle around and drive a police car and whatnot, there still is just so much time devoted to super boring and mundane things. Like the answering machine or answering message, whatever you call it. We got it the first time. Do we really need to hear the message every single time Carol called them? What is the point in making us sit through that every freaking time? It just feels like Vince isn't respecting my time as the audience watching his show. Also, why wouldn't Carol just ask them to get rid of the answering machine? They would have if she just asked. But no, we gotta sit through that message like a bazillion times over the course of a couple episodes, while also nothing interesting is going on while said message is being played. Like, I literally think one time Carol is just washing her hands or something. It's a little ridiculous. I think a big difference between this show and Vince's previous outings is the character work. While Better Call Saul would have these scenes that would seem kind of mundane and boring, like, I don't know, just Jimmy pooping on the toilet or something, but the difference in those scenes compared to Pluribus is that they would actually serve a purpose in the story, usually more often than not revealing something about the character. That time is well spent developing the characters of the story. Carol here is not well developed. Rhea Seehorn is doing a great job. Of course, she is a wonderful actress. She is amazing in Better Call Saul, obviously, but her character is just way better there. Like, she could have a scene in that show where she's just smoking a cigarette or something, which might sound like a boring scene, but there would be something about that scene that would reveal her mental state at that point in the story and probably what she's currently thinking about in that moment, or something like that. The boring scenes in Pluribus do not accomplish the same thing. Carol washing her hands and waiting for the answering machine to finish for the 100th time reveals nothing to the audience. And when the answering machine finishes, she just asks for the lights to come back on or something like that. Like, what the frick? Literally, what is the point in that? That's so dumb and so boring. It's a waste of time. Let me learn more about Carol. I know she's a writer and I know she's gay. I know she doesn't like the hive mind because they remind her of the people at that conversion camp thing that her mom sent her to. But that's pretty much it. Compared to Vince's previous characters, Carol honestly really sucks. And just compare to Walter and Saul in their first seasons, I feel like we just learned so much more about them, and they were just much deeper and more complex characters. I think a major reason for this being an issue is that this show is practically devoid of conflict. Character conflict is almost always the foundation of a story. It's the driving force. Jimmy's conflict with his brother Chuck, Walter's conflict with his family and his job. These conflicts, for the most part, drive the story. What's the central conflict in Pluribus? Well, I guess it's Carol's relationship with the hive mind. And you know, for me personally, this is actually kind of interesting, just because I like the hive mind concept so much. But outside of the concept itself, and once a few episodes have gone by, this conflict kind of starts to just get boring. I mean, there isn't really any tension at all. The hive mind isn't threatening towards Carol in any way. They essentially, at least for the time being, exist to be her slaves. There's no tension or stakes in the story at all, until, of course, the very last episode, where we learn that there is now only a matter of months until Carol is joined into the hive mind. There is, of course, a couple of other characters that are not a part of the hive mind, but they are barely in the show and we learn like nothing about them. Like, why the frick are they okay with the hive mind? I just don't get it. It's so weird, and we really should have learned more about those characters and their motivations. We should have had time devoted to them rather than multiple boring and unengaging scenes of a drone taking 10 years to deliver a package. I like the guy that's taking full advantage of the hive mind, using them to live out all of his wildest fantasies. But why can't we learn more about him? What was his life like before the joining? And with these characters barely even being in the show, they barely have any conflict with Carol. They just ghost her, so no character drama there. And once again, this problem begins to get somewhat fixed when that Manusos guy meets up with Carol. But wait, that's once again at the very end of the season. And did we really need an entire episode of him traveling to go see Carol? Like, Vince, I get it, okay? It's a long way to travel, and it's hard because he's doing it with no help. I don't need a whole episode conveying that message to me. It's also very obvious to me, the viewer, that this guy is going to make it to Carol. Because what would be the point in introducing this character to the audience if he were to just die in the forest? Obviously, he's going to make it to Carol, so the longer you take to make that happen means you are just delaying the inevitable. And frankly, Vince, this just annoys me. Making me sit through an entire episode of this guy just driving and walking, it gets to the point where I get so annoyed with just watching this guy poop around that I actually start to dislike the character for not getting the hive mind's help. Like, I get it, he has like a moral code or whatever, but I know he's going to meet up with Carol, and his moral code is just making that take longer to happen, so I get annoyed with the character because of it. Like, bro, just let them fly you there, instead of making me sit through a whole episode where you just drive around and make yourself look like an idiot. We as the audience also know the hive mind serves as no threat to him, so it makes it that much more annoying that he doesn't just accept this help. Like, bro, you are actively halting the plot from making any progress. What is the point of this, Vince? So I don't know, bro. The show is kind of a mixed bag. It's funny, I've said nothing but negative stuff really about the show, but I did enjoy watching it. But for me, that's just because of the cinematography and the fun sci-fi concept. Outside of those two things, there isn't a whole lot that I can praise about the show from an objective filmmaking perspective. I just personally really like the hive mind concept and seeing how that would play out and the things that could be possible when all of humanity shares a brain. That is a fun concept to explore. So I like the show, but I don't think I will ever rewatch it. I feel like if I rewatched it, I would just dislike it way more, but after just one watch through, I did still like it. Yeah, I am excited for season 2, but I can't say I'm dying to find out what will happen next. I am interested though, and I do genuinely have no clue where this series will go and how it will end. So I don't know, I have mixed thoughts on this show. I like it, but at the same time, it can be very boring. Especially if I were to rewatch it, then it would really, really be boring because I would know what it's leading to. There's also the problem that it had to live up to some extremely high expectations as it's naturally going to be compared to the greatest television shows ever created. So I don't know, that's some of my thoughts on Pluribus. Thanks for watching. Bye.